right. Hey, it looks like we're up and running. Give me a second here to check in on my signal, make sure we're live. Fix my screen here so everything's sitting properly. Looks like we're sitting proper. I'm going to check my signal here, make sure we're coming through. I'm going to do a couple social media posts. And then we're going to work on the Bastion campaign for a couple hours. We're getting pretty close to being done with the initial document here. We're getting pretty close to being done. Yep, that's my voice. It sounds like I'm audible. So let's. That's my voice. Whoa, it sounds like I'm audible. Let's drop that down to so it's less audible. That should probably work out just fine. Normally you'd see like a loading music with a countdown so that I'd have time to do my social media posts behind the scenes without you noticing, but. Alas, that is not what's happening. Hey, this is the book cover that we'll have. No, actually, this isn't a book cover. This is just random art that I made a while ago of some mad scientist and its Golem creations. Just fished this one out because it felt right for deeming some sort of a complications that we're working on today. It just seems like a fun way to go. Check. That looks good. That looked pretty good. Let's go back to here. Let's grab that. That looks good. Going to dip out here. That's good to go. Wait, no, that's not good to go. I pressed the button. Press the button and press the button and press the button. Almost done with my social posts. My name's Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them. I publish them online, and I'm creating content for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition 2024, utilizing the Bastion system that was published in the new DMG, but we're translating into a risk-reward ability check system that when you fail a check, it puts the order on hold until you can resolve the complication, which can either be done as an episodic adventure that you send the characters on to resolve during this Bastion week, or you issue additional orders to your Bastion to fix their problem because your characters are already engaged in an adventure, so that is not your episode this week. Or you could run multiple teams, your primary quest that your primary adventure characters are rolling on, and then you have Bastion hirelings that are also all player characters sheeted, so that whenever a complication arises, you can pause your current primary mission and then run the complication as a separate one-shot or a heist mission or something with the side characters inside the Bastion. And once that resolves, then go back to your main quest. It just depends on what kind of a time frame you want to run. I recommend, the way that I'm running a Bastion campaign for my Spelljammer Eberron Asteroid Belt Mining Corporation campaign is to not have any main characters and instead just keep the eyes as this is what our mining corporation is trying to achieve, and then whatever goal seems most important to the team, that's what they decide to make their adventure, and then they queue up characters from their pool of hirelings who's best equipped to resolve this task, and so they'll assemble a team. And then they'll go tackle the problem. And when you either through skill check, either through a Bastion test, or as an adventure seed, whenever the complication is resolved, then the order proceeds without further difficulty because you resolve the complication. Every time you have to make a roll to issue an order, whether it's the same order that needs to be issued repeatedly because of sustained effects that you aren't willing to pay to sustain, or because like as just like a one-shot thing that you're doing right now, like, you know, build me some climbing gear so we can go do this heist mission. Like, if you have a good workshop, you can have that done in a week. No problem. So your next adventure will queue up, and that will become the heist mission that you need these spider harnesses for example. So whenever you make that Bastion test, that ability check to determine success or failure in the task that was issued, the order that you issued to your Bastion, if that fails, that creates a complication, and the complication will change over time. And since I'm now caught up on all my social media posts, so let me knock this stuff out of the way, get my screen straight here, and cap off by saying, if you think today's session is cool, you like my artwork in the morning, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications of when we're live in the future so you can stay up to date with what we got going on. You can check out the DRAGONFLIGHT video that I released for Monster Week 2025, highlighting dragons in role-playing games. You can check that out if you're interested. And the playtest document that we'll be using, here's the full live stream of the 50 episodes that we put into the Bastion campaign. There's also 30 episodes at the beginning of this playlist to look at the command system that we created 2 years ago before Bastions were announced in the playtesting. We were already developing a system like this. It just happens that the Bastion concept in the Dungeon Master's Guide could be changed and modified to improve what is officially 5e through the command system, reformatted to use facilities and the orders that are issued to Bastions instead of the default system that we were using for the in-command system, which is different, but it's the same concept, but it's just mechanically different from what Bastions ended up being. So we rebuilt the thing, and you can see the initial build of how that document was like the first 30 episodes of the playlist, and then the last 50 is us actually building out the Bastion campaign. So, hey, Steve, how you doing? And here's the playtest document. If you click on that Google Doc, it'll pop open a Google Doc. For you, it's going to be read only. Just like everything else that I publish on the DMs Guild, you can read the entire thing. And for these books, if you think any of them are cool, they enhance your campaigns, consider making a purchase to encourage similar behavior in the future. But for now, since this is a playtest document in the process of being created, I will be editing this live, and you are welcome to read along in real time with me if you wish. So we've resolved all this. We've resolved how to create or how to increase a Bastion, its facilities and its relative strength. The Bastion point system that's used to improve facilities and purchase additional orders and stuff like that. Just jazzy things you can do with a pool of mana at the societal level instead of individual level. And then we have each individual facility, and each facility provides either downtime activities, Bastion features that enhance what your Bastion does, or you can issue orders to that facility to do something. And those things that it can do after we get through all of these different facilities, that they're completely codified. So anyone that reads through this document could create their own facilities unique to your campaign for a Bastion system that will be completely consistent with this design structure. It's replicatable. So it's not only are we rebuilding the Bastion system, but we're also creating a logic system to determine what facilities can do, how well they can do it, what kind of roles do you need to achieve them, and what kind of complications or events can occur as a result of having them. So again, you can build a cascading campaign of rolling consequences. The orders that you're issuing are in response to the actions that happen inside of the campaign that are confronting or assisting your Bastion's goals to impact the geopolitical landscape of your campaign space. Speaking of space, I plan on implementing this system for the Storm King Thunder campaign I'll be running through Spelljammer, where we'll have a dwarven citadel with a mecha ship hangar bay as one of the facilities that we'll make up using these rules when we go about and build the campaign. But there'll be a cluster of different asteroid communities, like farming belts and asteroids for mining, and then there's going to be like little like cluster cities and stuff like that. There'll be a number of different communities that are within your jurisdiction that are attacked by kaiju, and so the Dwarven Fortress comes to aid whatever community is being attacked by kaiju, and then disperse the Gundam ships that your characters command. And then we play Spelljammer fightercraft combat at the 50-foot scale, while your characters at their 5-foot scale interact inside of the Dwarven Citadel. That's the hangar bay floating fortress that protects the asteroid communities. And in that sense, we'll basically roll through Storm King's Thunder with the same similar scenarios that crop up in each of them, and then have like little things that are happening. The focus will be on the mecha combat versus kaiju, because it's a playtest campaign for the mecha kaiju book that we're publishing for Spelljammer. So I mean, it all like I ran Descent into Avernus not because I wanted to run DIA, but because we had been building the initial rules for the command system, which was the precursor to this. And when we were going through that command process of building out military to attack different settlements, that's when we stumbled into the Spelljammer combat system that we published, where vehicles, it started off with how would we command it, like 16 wolves as a troop, or like 25 soldiers, or 1,000 soldiers. How could we have those operate using the 5e game mechanics? That's how we started developing the scaling map system. And then once and then we got into siege weapons. How would siege weapons interact with this? And that's how we got into the Descent into Avernus, Infernal War Machine, convoy combat system that we had been playtesting. So we playtested that in Descent into Avernus. And by the time we got to level 13, Spelljammer was rolling out. And we saw some initial notes about how Spelljammer works. It's very simple. So we just immediately took all of the Infernal War Machines and made them Infernal Flying Machines, and developed the mecha combat mechanics for fighter craft at the 50-foot scale. And then once the actual Spelljammer book published, we then went, well, we can just scale this up to 500-foot squares instead of 50-foot squares, because every ship that they present in the book fits within a 500-foot space. So all we had to do was just upscale the 50-foot scale mecha Mad Max truck combat mechanics that we developed, was just interpreting or expanding on the mount rules for characters at the 5-foot scale. So we now have these 50-foot mounts that characters can control. And then when Spelljammer came out, we expanded again into 500-foot scale, so that ships become basically mounts that your characters control magically through the helm. And now the Bastion campaign came out, so then we're going back to the front end of the command document. We've already taken all the vehicle mechanics from In Command and developed them into Spelljammer and the mecha rules that we're using. And now we're rewinding further back into the In Command history to now take the actual concept of Dominion and plug it into the Bastion system to codify it. So that's the rant. That's what we're doing. So the facility, like I said, we'll develop a hangar base at the facility, like the different stuff that you would expect to see in the Dwarven Citadel. It'll give me an excuse to actually map a Dwarven Citadel at the 500, 50, and 5-foot scales. God, 5-foot scale would be insane. And then to develop unique facilities, build out some asteroid communities. And I've never ran Storm King's Thunder, so this is a lot of fun. Oh yeah, the cover piece that I have here is inspiration for the workshop, where you can create constructs as basically like protectors for your Bastion, or if your characters are a high enough level to take them out as companions, like a Shield Guardian clicks in at 3rd rank, which is like 9th level plus. So go through all the facilities. Here's the benefits, how the benefits work. The downtime activities that your characters can gain benefits from hanging out at your facility instead of going on an adventure. Downtime dice. We know all that stuff is the same as the Bastion dice. And then the orders that you can issue to each facility, if facilities have orders that they can be issued. And how each of those basic orders work, how crafting works, how empowering magic items work, how harvesting materials from settlements and environments work. How to maintain lifestyles at the organization level, so you don't have to worry about counting coins when you're making your operation go. Called maintaining lifestyles. Recruiting new troops or unique creatures and specialists into your organization. And then research to discover spells or information and secrets that you need to progress plot lines. It's also for gathering information from enemies and communities. Trade is acquiring materials or objects that you can't necessarily craft on your own, but you need nonetheless. And then how to variant them. And then governing bastions and settlements, which is using orders through your bastion to command settlements and other bastions that are subsidiaries of your own bastion. Waging war against each other. How to assemble an army as a mobile bastion with limited facilities that you can issue attack actions through to target other bastions or settlements or other armies. And then we have, after we get through attacking and defending and damaging bastions and settlements and repairing them. Once we go through, and it's all using the same stacking proficiency dice system. So it's all just once you understand the mechanic for one thing, you pretty much get the mechanics for everything. This is how are we using them. So it's a super simple, all built out of the 5e DMG. Hey, there's my 20-minute timer. That was pretty good timing. Bastion events and complications. So this is where we're at. We have D20. These are taken from the player's handbook, from the DMG. The basic type of complications that can occur that we've embellished and expanded on them. And these complications can affect armies, bastions, and settlements depending on who's making the roll. Like you have to maintain a lifestyle for your bastion. A settlement also needs to maintain a lifestyle to represent its relative level of safety in the community. And an army needs to maintain a lifestyle because you have to keep your troops fed and healthy. Otherwise, they desert or mutiny on you. So all three types of bastion formats have a means of expressing what your bastion event is. And there's at least one bastion event per bastion per turn. And depending on what your facilities are, you can have more bastion. You can have more bastion events per turn, which could either be good or bad. Sometimes they damage your facilities. Sometimes they give you extra bonus materials. And then separately, and then furthermore, these bastion events sculpt the narrative around what happens with complications that arise. So let's do some quick and simple painful stuff. Let's say I'm going to roll a d6 to see what task we were attempting to achieve. 1. So I was attempting to craft something. Let's say we were talking about spider harness gear for cliff climbing and infiltration missions. So let's say we've issued an order to our facility to craft spider gear, so that we'll have, we have like access to spider climb and we can hang on cliff walls and all that stuff. We can do that through the gear that we create. So that's probably going to be a uncommon. It's probably going to be more than 100 gold pieces to be able to produce those sort of things. So it's going to be, but probably less than 400. So let's call it an uncommon item, which is a DC 15. I make my roll. I fail my roll. I am now triggering a complication. So first off, it's the beginning of my bastion turn. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to check for bastion events. And let's assume I only have one bastion event per turn right now because of the facilities that I have. I just rolled a 5. And we're talking specifically about my workshop facilities. So we have the issue that's plaguing our bastion this turn is labor loss. And since we're using a bastion, we're looking at hireling strike or quit work, lose 1 order per turn until I get new recruits. Okay, so I failed my crafting check. We already determined that I failed my crafting check because first we issue our order. We have our new turn. We know that anything that happens during our bastion's turn is going to be focused through the lens of losing labor. Hirelings are quitting or dying. So then I got to make my shit. So I issue my harness gear, craft my harness gear. I fail the die roll. It triggers a complication, and now the labor loss event has context, and that I now have 1 less turn. Not only did I fail the check because the hirelings go on strike, but I also lose 1 turn until I can resolve the complication. So before I can even go on my heist mission, I need my spider harness gear. I can't get my spider harness gear until I resolve the issue that's happening to my hirelings. So since hirelings are strike or quit work, that's the general vibe of what's going on, but it was actually a complication for crafting. So I'm going to roll a 1d6 to see specifically what's the flavor of issue that I'm having. So I'm going to roll a 1d6, taking it into it says recruit. Hirelings in the facility lack the skill to produce the item, so I can issue the recruit order to hire a specialist familiar with creating the chosen item. And this is, so I'd have to issue an additional order, but I've just lost an order because of my bastion event says I'm losing 1 order. So either I have a spare order laying around, or I have to I have to spend extra bastion points that I keep in a pool. I have to spend a bastion point to issue an additional order. So I lose access to that bastion point for the turn. but I get to issue an additional order as a result of it. And since it's a recruiting issue, it's looking here as hireling, strike, or quit work. Maybe the issue is that the guy that was supposed to be able to build the spider harness gear, he quit. I have no idea why he quit. So I could either try to go hire that guy back. Maybe he's on a mission from God and he has to get to Chicago as fast as he can. If that's the case, I could maybe help escort him to Chicago and fight all of the Chicago PD to help get the nunnery taken care of, or we hire somebody new. So if I want to make that my mission specifically to help that engineer that quit, that's my adventure right now. If I've got something else I want to be doing as a player character, the players decide that's not a cool adventure, let's do something different. Cool. We then issue the order for the Bastion as NPCs and as a background activity to hire someone new. Hey, if you're not willing to work with us anymore, there's plenty of people that need a job out there. We hire a new master thief. So the DC was a 15 to craft the gear, so I have to roll a D20. I have to pass my Bastion test, and it's the same DC. So it was a 15 DC to craft the gear. That created a complication. I now have to roll the recruit order using a Bastion test with my recruit stats. And let's say I'm rolling a D6 plus 2 for as a modifier to the D20. So I'm gonna throw my D20. I got a 2. So I got a 2, and I get to roll a D6. I got a 3. So I'm up to a 5, and I get a plus 2. I got a 7 out of 15. So this turn, my team spends an order and eats up some of our resources to go try to find a new hireling, and I failed the check. So this Bastion turn, I can't make any progress on my spider gear because I can't get somebody to come help us build these things. And it created a complication. So the order's on pause, and I either give up that order and choose to do something else and forget about spider gear, or I leave that order hanging while these complications get resolved. So since I triggered a complication in recruiting for my Bastion, and it's going to be a new turn, so I'm going to issue a new Bastion event. And keep in mind, the complication is lose 1 order per turn until new recruits. So I've still lost that guy, so I need to find that replacement, and I'm going to stay down 1 order until I do. I'm already down an order because I'm putting that order on hold for the spider gear that I need. I've just been taxed an order because my labor lost, and I failed the recruit check to replace them. So that's 2 orders that I'm already down. And at second rank, I only have 3 orders. So like, I'm getting strapped here. I'm gonna have to again spend Bastion points if I can't hit this next die roll. And the die roll continues to be a DC 15. So I've only got a D6 plus 2 modifier, and I just triggered a recruiting complication for the second week of trying to resolve this fucking spider harness. So we need to continue here in refining what the complications are. But if assuming this was ready to go, maybe it's going to be good enough. Research order. I'm sorry, it's the recruiting order, not the research order. So we need to hire a new specialist for a new heist gear specialist. So that's what a recruit order. We failed the roll. I'm going to roll a D6. I rolled a 6. So the complication involves trade. Oh, I forgot to actually roll the complication, the Bastion event. So last time it was labor loss, and the complications led to us losing our heist gear specialist. But this Bastion turn, I roll a 14. So everything is framed around contract specialist. Oh my, contracted specialist. A specialist hireling offers services if provided with a new or improved facility to work. Holy shit. So we literally just got the specialist, and all we have to do is improve our facilities. But we triggered a complication when we did our roll, so we found a guy. He wants us to improve our workshop facilities. Let's see what the actual, and it was a trade issue. We just rolled a 6, so we know it's a trade issue. So the target of recruiting requires specific material or items. It's not the facility that's the problem. He wants a specific piece of gear. So the trade order is either to go find whatever that random piece of gear is that he wants, or the plot hook is to fetch the required materials to have, or that specific item. You see how this is self-building campaigns for your characters to roll through using this Bastion system. You now have this narrative going. Like, for whatever reason you need spider harness gear to climb something, it's set up all these circumstances where this cascade of events occurs every Bastion week. And depending on how you want to focus, while this complication was going on, your characters may have been, I don't know, raiding a dragon's horde or something. And so if the DM sent them on a quest, it could be one of the interesting items that the team picked up is what this specialist wants to work at that place. Or it could be something completely different that the team doesn't have access to. And so they could either be like, if we go on this quest, we could probably find that item while requesting, or if there's no chance that our current priorities is going to have us find the thing that this dude wants. So instead, let's just issue the trade order to go fetch it. So, and since complications either compound or escalate when they aren't resolved, the problem for the narrative here has remained. We need to find a guy who's qualified to help us. It's not a compounding problem. Instead, it's an escalating problem. So the item that this guy wants is going to be, instead of being an uncommon rarity, which is the spider harness that we want made, it escalates 1 degree. So he wants a rare magic item. So we could roll a random magic item that this dude wants. But regardless, I would either, if they decide they want to make a quest out of it, then whatever adventure they go on, we know for a fact that this item is going to be part of that quest that the team can. That's their actual goal, is to pick that thing up, and whatever the narrative of the quest is that for that adventure is just the trappings, the complications and the bullshit they have to go through to get the item, the MacGuffin that they want. Maybe the guy wants, I don't know, Dust of Disappearance or something for some reason. Like, if you give me a sack of Dust of Disappearance, I can make you some incredible, I will make you incredible spider harness gear. You will love it. And you'll have my, I'll be your guy. And so that would resolve that. So we're going to go on a mission, and we know in that mission we're going to find Dust of Disappearance. If we're like, no, we don't want to make that part of our mission. It's like, okay, cool. Well, now the trade order gets issued. And we know that we couldn't hit DC 15 twice, but it just escalated. So now it's a DC 20. And if we get to a point where it's impossible for us to hit the results that we need, it has to become a mission. Or you have to throw away that entire chain of tasks because you're just giving up on the harness gear. Fuck it. It's not worth it. Like, it's not worth robbing this place. It's been too much complication. We've already invested more than we expect to get back from it. It's a waste of time now. Never mind. And you throw that entire cascade away, whether you keep the guy or not. If you don't wind your way all the way back to the initial order of craft me spider gear, you could still fail. And this specialist is like, yeah, I know how to build this stuff, but whatever our new complication is, that's the problem that you're having. So it's pretty cool. It just spills out. It just continues to spill out. If you can't hit your ability checks on the Bastion tests, it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse, like a good campaign should. So that's my rant. That's literally how that's the game that the DM gets to play between sessions. As if you don't treat your DM prep as a game, it's a chore, right? If it's not fun, it's if you're not play, it's work. If it's not fun, it's a chore. So you have to make running your game, the downtime activity of your game has to be fun. And this is a really great way for you to make a game out of it, kind of like you're solo playing a world building game by yourself. This gives you a world building light system that you can, again, as a DM, you can play, and then the players get to play this with you alongside you whenever they progress their Bastion turn. So it's a different type of sandbox. It's a circumstantial sandbox, not a geographical sandbox. You don't know what next week is going to bring you, just like you don't know what's going to be in the next hex. But it's going to be adventure, and it's going to be an opportunity for you to explore or to try to skip over. Either way. So that's how this stuff works. And so we're going to, it says right here, continue here. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to continue here. We got 1, 2 spaces there. Got 1, 2 spaces here. And these things don't have to be perfect. It's just, you know, it's just what they is. So empower. Create magical items or give characters temporary boons. So we have 3 types of bastions that receive that experience bastion events, but we only have one general type of description of each complication. So there's 7 types of orders, which is perfect because if you have a problem with crafting can't solve it. You have to do something else has to help you. So with 7 orders that can be issued, whichever order you issue isn't, so that means there's 6 left. So that just gives you a handy, convenient D6 to throw. It's like all this stuff is already here. This is just the idea of bastion events and the 7 orders. That's straight out of the DMG. I'm just taking the next logical step of how would we gamify this instead of making it. It's currently in the social pillar where the players decide, you know, what are the NPC hirelings like in the facilities, and there's no chance of success or failure, but they're very limited in what they can actually do at all. So it's not something that you have to dream up and achieve. Instead, it's just like I've got 1 or 2 things that I can do, and I'm guaranteed to succeed at them, but they're not significant things. So they don't really make a difference, but there they are. It's just a way to, I guess, give you some fluff so you feel like it's worth buying the book. But it's far short. It could be so much deeper. And I say that with love. If WotC had different goals and had more time to achieve those goals, I think they would come up with cool ideas like this. This is the kind of shit that I would have expected to come out of 5e, given what they had done with 3e and 4e. I think these kind of ideas is the natural evolution of where 5e should have been heading, considering they were trying to walk all the way back to 1st edition and bring those people into 5e. Stuff like this is which is what I think would bridge the gap, because what most BECME 1st and 2nd edition people miss about 5e is the Dominion style of play, and just the deep exploration of not knowing what's going to happen next, and the DM not knowing what's going to happen next. That's where the real magic of the earlier games were at, is that you have these open systems where the DM doesn't necessarily give a shit what your character does. Just do something to impact the world so I can change the world as a result of whether you succeed or fail. That's the game that we old school DMs play. Here's my world right now. Here, break it. And my job during the downtime is to figure out how does the world recuperate from what you did, and how are they going to retaliate against you. And that becomes the DM's game, their solo game that they play during prep, of how is the world responding to what the players are going to do, and what fun new challenges can I throw that at them that are consequences to the decisions that they made last time, or a few sessions ago that they may have forgotten about, that they're going to hate remembering. Stuff like that. So this is designed to help you build those things, but there's no real instructions inside 5e to explain that process. So this is also an attempt to bring those ideas into your 5e game space if you don't know how to utilize these tools already, and you're reliant on the narrative of written adventures that they've published that can be rather linear. So we're trying to open up that space so that you can become more adaptable. So instead of having to leave the 5e game engine to find a more improvised game system, we can bring that improvisation into the 5e game system, because it's such a fucking great game engine that can do it. So that's enough random stuff from me. Sorry. Actually, not sorry, but it's 6:30, so I've got about 2 hours to get stuff done, and then I'm out for the day. And we'll see if I find a natural breaking point before that. But empowering magic items. The Empower Order allows you your Bastion to create magical items or give characters temporary boons as part of their downtime activity. So, crafting. So if there's kids in our neighborhood, you can probably hear them screeching at each other. They're just trying to see who can scream loudest. It's pretty awesome. Empower, create magical items, or give character temporary boons. So if there's a problem with if characters gain temporary boons, there are no complications for characters taking downtime. Bastion features don't have complications. Downtime activities that characters perform do not have complications unless their downtime activity is to lead the order that you've issued to your Bastion, in which case your character would be part of the complication. But it's the same type of complication that you would rolled whether your characters were there or not. So, technically let's restart that. There we go. Okay, great. So yeah, create magic items. That's basically the only purpose that Empower serves. So again, the 7 orders are craft, empower, harvest, maintain, recruit, research, and trade. And since Empower is the order that gained a complication, you can't resolve a problem with empowering magic items by empowering magic items, so you have to do something different. Something else is the problem. So there's your D6. Crafting. The item cannot be empowered. Craft order to create a new item. Or a plot hook is to find a suitable item to empower. Issue the trade order. Issue the craft order to create a new item while empowering it. Because you can do that. You can empower items while you're creating them, or you can just take an item and empower it. So the item to be empowered, the item used to create the item chosen to be the non-magical item. There we go. The non-magical item cannot be empowered, period. That is the problem. So you could issue the craft order to create a new item while empowering it. Generally, if you can empower an item at a place, you can pretty much craft it at that place. Plot hook to or create an adventure, and that's the language that we're using. Or create an adventure to find a suitable item to empower. Easy enough. Harvest. The problem with empowerment is, with the role of harvest, is that your Bastion doesn't have the necessary exotic materials needed to empower the item, period. So you can issue the harvest order to gather the needed material from an established friendly settlement. From a nearby source. From a source nearby. You don't have the material that you need. You can go get it from something. And if that fails, you now have a harvest issue, which we'll get to. And then, or create an adventure. To acquire the necessary materials. Those sound basically the same. This becomes a quest with the materials needed as a reward. And this one sets your characters up to start interacting with nearby locations that you may decide to build a settlement on, or that has a settlement already located with, that you now have began building a relationship with by needing material from them. So this is, again, when you're issuing an order, you're basically building geopolitical weight in the campaign that creates new opportunities for adventure. And when you create adventures, it activates your characters to do heroic, crazy shit that, if they succeed, will walk away with whatever MacGuffin it is that they needed for this particular task. Maintain. Magical backlash damages Bastion. Ooh. A magical backlash damages the empowering facilities. Maintain order to improvise facilities while repairs are in progress. To improvise. No, we're going to change that. Issue the maintain order. We're going through this because we can reword some of them. And here's an instance of that. Issue the maintain order to hasten repairs of the facility. In this instance, this is just the facilities. A magical backlash damages the empowering facilities. And generally, the amount of damage that would be taken would be the same die roll that you would roll for the order that's being issued. So in my example, I was rolling a d6 plus 2. I'm going to take d6 points of damage to my Bastion and the facilities in my Bastion, starting with whichever one is empowering the magic item that went wrong. So that one gets dropped to 0 first, and any points that remain get distributed to other other facilities that are nearby, or just random if you haven't drawn a map. If you've drawn out where each facility is inside of your Bastion, then you can see where, which ones share walls. Those would logically be damaged as well. And when you lose Bastion points from a facility, its effective level drops. It's like, I was using a d6, but like if I take 1 point of damage to the facilities, like say it was a reliquary that was building a magic item for me, that was the one that was empowering my item. If the reliquary was 2nd rank and it takes 1 Bastion point of damage, it is now 1st rank. Instead of rolling d6s, I now roll d4s with that facility until I can get my shit repaired. So. The taste of good. Let's see. Okay, so that's the maintain order. Issue the maintain order to hasten repairs of the facilities. Plot hook to investigate wild surges in the damage. There we go. Or create an adventure to discover the cause of the magical backlash. I mean, this is very, it's very elementary. It's very basic plot structure stuff, but it's designed like this could be pixies. Like we have gremlins. There's gremlins in our facility. Now we have to hunt down gremlins, or we could learn to befriend them somehow and make them allies and recruit them for some reason, or we could hire them as saboteurs and then send them to an enemy facility, and now they're being attacked by gremlins. Fuck! These gremlins may have come from a rival we don't know that's targeting us, and this is the first indication that we're actually at war with somebody and we don't know it yet. So like that would be a really cool plot hook to discover, to find out where these gremlins came from, why are they here, how did they get, what do you mean you were delivered here? And that just opens up. Now we're on a quest to avenge ourselves and to shut down our rivals before they do serious long-term damage to our facilities, our bastions, our hirelings, etc. Or it could be like some sort of I had an adventure where a blacksmith couldn't work his forge anymore, because he said it was haunted. But what really happened was a water weird got trapped in the cooling water that they used, and the iron that was being dropped in was polluting the water, and it pissed off the water weird, so it attacked the blacksmith. But the blacksmith didn't know; it just assumed it was a ghost or something. So the team is doing all of this like poltergeist, undead hunting stuff, and it's an elemental laying in a pool of water in the middle, over on the side of the forge. And it took them forever to figure it out, but once they figured it out, they were able to resolve the problem well. But it was a one-shot. It was like a 3-hour one-shot of us just fucking around with the 5e game engine. And they're like, oh yeah, that was fun. Anyway, it was easy, but this is similar. This could be something similar to that. Recruit. Hirelings. And it's not your Bastion, it's the Bastion, because that's how we're wording it. The Bastion doesn't have the necessary exotic materials needed to empower the item. Recruit. Hirelings accidentally create a living spell in your facility that goes on a rampage. Ha! That's awesome! I forgot I'd done that one. That one's great. This is a recruiting issue. Issue the recruit order. It's a hire special. Oh, the hire specialist to remove the living spell. Or create an adventure to contain or create an adventure to stop the living spell from damaging the Bastion. The facilities and hirelings. From harming. There. Which could be, hey, let's be friends. We now have a living spell as a pet. Or you kill it because it's got to go. I don't know. You hit it with a dispel. Whatever. Research the Bastion. It's never your Bastion. It's the Bastion. The facilities, the Bastion, the hirelings, the item. I'm trying to keep it third person. The facilities doesn't have the needed plans to empower the item. You need to have plans. You have to research or otherwise trade and acquire, or as treasure, plans for how to build magic items and non-magical items if they're more than 100 gold pieces in value. So any magic item and any non-magical item of 100 gold pieces or more in value requires plans to make. And again, you could trade those, you could research them, or you could make them part of the treasure that you gain in adventures. But once you have the plans, then you can make magic items with them. And if it comes up like your plans don't work, then you have basically either false plans or they're cursed. So they don't do what you want and they become a cursed item instead. So you have to be careful with your plans. And it's assumed that plans work unless you fail your empower check, at which point it's possible that the plans go rogue. So the facility doesn't have the needed plans to empower the item. Issue the research order. See, easy enough. Issue the research order to discover the needed plans. Or create an adventure to locate the needed plans. discover new plans. Because the plans you have don't work. The plans. There. The plans to empower the item are flawed. Trade. The Bastion, never your Bastion, it's the Bastion in this scenario. The Bastion doesn't have the necessary exotic materials. Is it the harvest order as well? The Bastion doesn't have the necessary exotic materials needed to empower the item. The Bastion doesn't have the necessary exotic materials needed to empower the item. Period. Issue the trade order. Yeah, this is different. Issue the trade order to establish new sources of materials, or create an adventure to acquire the necessary materials. Itchy back. Holy Hannah. I got hair down my shirt. Itchy back. Oh, that's only slightly better. Whew. And okay, that was easy enough. So that's empowering's improved. I like it. Produce materials needed for item creation. Let's go with equipment required to harvest material is damage, sabotage. There we go. And then issue the craft order to repair or replace the damaged equipment. And it's very straightforward. Your equipment broke. Well, let's fix it. Okay. We're going to have to issue an order to do that because we're now asking our Bastion to do more stuff. Or create an adventure to discover the source of damage or sabotage to prevent further complications. That's good enough. The materials you harvest are infested and or unrefined. How about the materials you harvest are impure? Oh, this is a harvesting order. We're getting material. That's right. So the materials you harvest are flawed or of poor quality. Issue the empower order to purify or enrich the material. I like that. Or create an adventure to discover what is degrading the quality of the materials. Because when you have a harvesting facility, if like I'm making a rare magic item and I need exotic materials for it, then it's going to be a DC 20 to harvest exotic enough material from a facility that would be able to do so. Like if I need like magic beans or something to create my tree of growth or whatever, then I could gather I could gather the appropriate seeds from an orchard, but it's going to be a DC 20 to find like perfect seeds or like special seeds that are like just crazy for some crazy, like we have these albino seeds that smell like elderberries. They're not supposed to do that, but here it is. That might be an exotic enough material for you to be able to make something magical out of it. It feels like they're magical. So there you go. That's the idea there. Hirelings go on strike due to poor work conditions. That seems pretty realistic. So we will issue the maintain order to improve the lifestyle of the hirelings until the order is completed. While they carry out the order. Or create an adventure Why don't you let, no, that's the right word. We're creating an adventure too. That's not a very exciting adventure. Hirelings go on strike due to poor work conditions. Or create an adventure to investigate the cause of the poor work conditions. I don't know. Maybe it's maybe there's actually a dryad that's charming and cursing them or something. Hirelings harmed by mysterious. Hirelings are harmed by a mysterious accident. Issue. Well, you can simply issue the recruit order to hire additional workers while the hirelings heal, or create an adventure to investigate the mysterious accident. Local government. Local government or rival. The local government or a rival is seizing assets. Issue the research order to discover influence needed or rival authority is seizing assets. Issue the recruit order to discover influence needed to discover means of issue a search order to gain influence and have the assets returned. Is seizing materials. There you go. Like you are running a copper mine and the Duke in the region suddenly decides that he wants to commandeer all exported copper to a neighbor, and now you don't have access to copper anymore. Or create an adventure to investigate why materials are being seized. That's a great adventure. Maybe you'll discover about this copper deal that's going on and create maybe you can then step in and create an ally of the person so that you can gain more influence with this new player in the game and the Baron that sees control. Mysterious natural disaster disrupts harvesting. Issue the trade order to temporarily to find a new source of materials while period. Or issue or create an adventure like if it's an earthquake that opened up in your poppy fields and now you can't make recreational smoke. Maybe if you choose this as your adventure, there is a rift that opens into the Underdark that's going to spew out dark mantles and Ettercap into the fields to attack people if we don't do something about it. So that becomes your adventure. Dark mantles hiding in your poppy fields sounds terrifying. All right. Hey, this is fairly easy. Again, we're just rephrasing things, working on structure, working on continuity and consistency. So I'm pretty happy with where this is coming along. Lifestyles and security of your Bastion. Craft. Bastion. The Bastion is damaged. Or sabotaged by monster weather rivals. So maintain is generally like rolling your lifestyle or repair. That's basically what maintain is: repair and maintaining a lifestyle. Issue the craft order. I think I'm going to get done with this tonight. To repair Bastion facilities, to repair, to expedite repairing the Bastion. Or create an adventure to investigate, to discover the source, of to discover the cause of damage. The source of what has damaged the Bastion. That might not be a good language, but it's the language we're using. Cool. Empower. Unnatural streak of bad luck caused by curse or blight magic. Issue the Empower order to remove the curse or purge the blight. Similarly, or create an adventure to discover remove the curse or purge the blight. These are very redundant, aren't they? Create an adventure to discover the source of what had damaged the facilities or repair them. Empower is to issue the Empower order to remove curse or purge the blight, or create an adventure to remove the curse or purge the blight. It says basically your Bastion does it or you do it. It's one or the other. But it's the same thing that's getting done. It's always the Bastion, not your. The Bastion. The Bastion supplies are robbed, are stolen. Issue the harvest order to gather new supplies or create an adventure to track, to locate the stolen supplies. To gather new materials and supplies. This one is replace them. This one is discover how they were stolen. Different vibe. Hirelings of the Bastion are being kidnapped for ransom. Issue the recruit order to hire hostage negotiators to recover the hirelings, or create an adventure to rescue the hirelings. Yeah. The Bastion. The Bastion. Yeah, the Bastion goods and services. Let's do it like this. Goods and services used to maintain Goods and services provided by the Bastion decline in value due to rivals meddling. To a rival's meddling. Issue the research order to discover a spy in your midst, or create an adventure to discover which rival or create an adventure to stop the rival from meddling with your commerce, meddling with your Bastion lifestyle. The Bastion is never yours. Goods and services provided by the Bastion are undercut by competing rivals. And just by competitors. Due to sabotage. Goods and services that maintain the lifestyle of the Bastion. To maintain the Bastion's lifestyle. There. Goods and services provided by the Bastion are undercut by competitors. Issue the trade order to expand into new markets, period, or create an adventure to drive the competitors from the market. There we go. Recruit, research, and trade. Hey, we're doing pretty good. Recruit. This is actually pretty fucking mind-numbing. This type of activity. It's a lot of redundancy. This is not the most exciting part of game design right now. This is the grind. It's 7 o'clock. As long as I can resolve one of these per half hour, we will have achieved our objective for the night. I'm hoping to be able to get these done in 15 minutes apiece. Let's do 20 minutes a pop. Let's go. Recruit, hiring, retaining sentient personnel. Thank you. Craft, the target of recruiting demands better facilities or equipment, period. Issue the craft order to improve facilities or create additional equipment. Issue the craft order to renovate Bastion facilities or create additional equipment, period. Or issue the, or create an adventure, or create an adventure to acquire new equipment. Period. Empower. Sorry, recruiting refuses to join because it senses an unnatural disturbance at your bastion. Issue the Empower order to purge the bastion of any unnatural disturbances, or create an adventure to discover the source of the unnatural disturbance. Purge the bastion of any. It's the same thing, but it's just, it becomes active. The target of recruiting demands exotic materials. Issue the harvest order to gather the requested exotic material. Paired. Or create an adventure to acquire the requested exotic materials. Period. The target of recruiting demands a bonus reward. Issue the maintain order to provide additional accommodations for the new recruit. Paired. Or create an adventure to acquire exotic materials and the target recruiting demands a bonus reward, or create an adventure to acquire exotic treasure to appease the new recruit. Research. The target of recruiting is discovered to instead be a saboteur. Issue the research order to discover the source of to discover the saboteur's patron create an adventure to confront the saboteur's patron. The target recruiting requires specific materials or items. Period. Issue the trade order to acquire the requested, the required materials or items, period. That's pretty straightforward, right? Period. Or create an adventure to acquire the required materials or items. That was easy. Hey, this is going quicker. That only took 8 minutes. I'm almost done. Holy shit. Cleanup aisle me. Excuse me. I stretch it out. There we go. Research, discover new information, craft. The facilities are damaged. Disrupting further research. Period. Issue the craft order to expedite repairing the facility, period. Or create an adventure to discover the source of damage sabotage, period. To stop a source of damage sabotage. Empower. Magical warding prevents hirelings from... Magical warding prevents hirelings from researching the chosen topic. Period. Issue the Empower order to dispel the wardings preventing further research, period. That could go sideways as hell. Or create an adventure. To investigate the source of wards preventing research. That's a good one. I mean, again, a lot of these things are redundant. The adventures is generally around discovery and resolution, while the tasks are often less concerned about like the cause of, like the details of it. They just fix it. It wasn't a priority for you to explore. It's not a priority for me to detail, unless I choose to. The Bastion, it's never your Bastion. The Bastion is infested with memory loss fungus. Hirelings forget information discovered. They keep forgetting what they discover. Period. Issue the harvest order to gather the fungus and clear the bastion of infestation. That's great. Or create an adventure to discover the source of memory loss fungus. The origin of the fungus in the bastion. Maybe you're over an Underdark passage that's been releasing spores through a thin cavern ceiling that's at risk of buckling the next time crafting facilities are damaged by whatever, magic or natural weather or calamity, for example. The hirelings discover a dark secret they're afraid to research any further. Period. This is the maintain order, so issue the maintain order to increase compensation to continue despite the risk. Period. Or create an adventure to investigate or create an adventure to quell the fears of the hirelings. Period. That's a good one. Recruit. Target of research. The target of research becomes hostile and retaliates against the Bastion. The target of research retaliates against the researching hirelings. Issue the recruit order to increase security at the Bastion. Or create an adventure to there is no sabotage complications. It's now complications of sabotage is now just damage. Researchers lack the exotic materials. Where was I? Okay, there it is. Recruit. The target of research retaliates against the researching hirelings. Issue the recruit order to increase security at the Bastion, or create an adventure to end hostilities with the target of research. That can be abstract, like if I'm researching the plans to a rival king's castle, I may trigger investigation from counter-espionage officers from that rival kingdom that begin sabotaging your research facilities to prevent your team from making progress and discovering true plans to the rival nation's palace, to the rival nation's palace. There you go. Like there could be a ward on the information. Researchers lack hirelings. The higher hirelings require hirelings must expend expensive resources to proceed with research, period. Issue the trade order to acquire the required the expensive resources required to proceed. With research. Period. Or create an adventure to acquire the expensive resources required to proceed. Period. Require expensive sources of information to proceed with research. Issue the trade order to acquire the expensive sources. There. And finally, we're in trade. And we're at 18 minutes. The 2 minutes left on the clock, so that took 18 minutes. So I'm getting through one of these roughly every 10 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and just set myself a 20-minute timer and reckon that we'll get through trade pretty quickly here. So trade, gather materials for item creation or finish items for use. Acquire non-magical items or the materials needed to create magical items, period. Craft the Bastion facilities are either sabotaged or damaged by monsters or un/natural weather. Issue the craft order to repair. Issue the craft order to expedite repairs. Expedite repairing the facilities. Period. Or create an adventure to fight off monsters. Monster saboteurs. And saboteurs, or discover the source of un or natural weather. Harvest. A settlement. Almost there. Stay on target. Harvest. A settlement hireling. Harvesting. Hirelings mysteriously disappear. Period. Issue the harvest order to send additional labor. To expedite harvesting before more hirelings disappear. Period. Or create an adventure to discover where the disappearing hirelings have gone. Pureling. A settlement. The Bastion trades with is blighted with a curse. So issue the Empower order to sanctify, to purge the blight from the settlement. Period. Or create an adventure to investigate discover the source of blight. Period. Paired. Issue the Empower order. Blight. Issue the Harvest order to expedite harvesting before more hirelings disappear, or create an adventure to discover where the disappearing hirelings have gone. To investigate. To investigate the cause of hirelings. To investigate what is causing hirelings to disappear. Better English. Empower, a settlement the Bastion trades with. Got it. Maintain. A settlement, the Bastion. Always the, not yours. Oh shit! Sorry, Steve. Shoulder. It's still it's better. It turns out that there's a large knot, like underneath the shoulder blade that seems to be, forgive the metaphysics. It appears to be related to me not being able to accept some personality flaws that I have that causes me to trust people that I shouldn't, that have caused me wounds in the past, that I have begrudgingly, that I still begrudge them for. So as I go through the process of acknowledging where I'm at and forgiving myself, and through myself them as well, I think the pain in the shoulder will ease up, or it will discover. I'll discover the next layer, but when I meditate on that idea, it pulls soreness out of the shoulder towards my heart. So I think there's some sort of a metaphysical healing process happening there. Maintain a settlement the Bastion trades with. Mutinies. Here it is. The hirelings of a settlement the Bastion trades with mutinies. Strikes, halting further harvests. Halting the harvest of materials. So we could issue the maintain order to temporarily manage the settlement. Hirelings of a settlement. Mutiny against the governing bastion. Halting all harvest orders. Issue the maintain order to temporarily manage the settlement to reestablish. Issue the maintain order. How about this? Issue the maintain order to establish. To provide security. Issue the. Let's see. Let's see. The Hirelings have settled a mutiny against the governing bastion, halting all harvest orders. Issued the maintain order to the issue is trade. So to overpay issue the maintain order to bribe the settlement. Issue the maintain order to bribe the settlement to overpay for the traded items. Issue the Bastion order to overpay. Why am I talking about harvest orders? The hirelings of a settlement of a nearby settlement, mutinies, halting, rebel against the governing bastion, halting all trade. Period. Issue the maintain order to issue the maintain order to bribe the new issue the maintain order to pay for safe path to pay. Issue the maintain order to pay for safe passage, to pay for the Bastion. To pay for safe passage. Of trade caravans to the Bastion. Period. There we go. Plot hook to end the rebellion, disrupting trade. To pay for safe passage. To purchase safe passage for trade caravans. There we go. For the Bastion's hirelings, period. During trade. A settlement. The Bastion's trade routes are under siege and can't are under siege. The Bastion's merchant routes are under siege and cannot trade. And trade caravans. The merchant routes, the Bastion's merchant routes are under siege, period. And merchants can't get past. Issue the recruit order. To hire mercenaries. Issue the recruit order to hire mercenaries to clear the blockade. To clear are blockaded. The Bastion's merchant routes are traded by are blockaded by rivals. Issue the recruit order to hire mercenaries to clear the blockade, or create an adventure to drive the rivals from the Bastion merchant routes. Classic caravan guard shit. Or create an adventure to end the rebellion, disrupting trade. And finally, local government is seizing assets. Issue the research order to discover how to influence the government hirelings seizing assets. Period. Or create an adventure to investigate the cause of why assets are being seized. There we go. Holy shit, we did it. Nice. All right, that's that. And then we get the appendix on the next page. All the gear. Magic items. That's it. How many pages is this? 59 pages. Holy shit. And I think at the top, we have something to clear out. Give me a second. Kick on up here in front of the facilities. Well, that's a general statement that's probably worth retaining. Hey, tell me timer. Flexible non-facility use of resources, versatile space cheats, and a resource at the cost of -1 to roll. Specialist replaces the size of facilities of a single. We already have the settlement resolved. Blessings have rarity. These might actually be worth mentioning at some point. I can carve this out. It's not necessary anymore. This isn't necessary anymore because it's not accurate. We don't do orders this way anymore, so we get rid of these. Almost there. Stay on target. What is it? 8 o'clock? 7:45. Holy shit, we're doing great. I'm gonna work on the Eberron artwork tonight, off camera. Listen to some copyright music and enjoy my night. Get some painting done. I'm tired. I just fell asleep. That's crazy. So let's get rid of these. It's page 4. That's awesome. Let's go to the end of the book and just keep an eye is a bunch of stuff I need to get rid of. And there. And this is actually 47 pages. It's not so bad. Let's go back up to the top of the dock. Bastion Campaigns, TOS, Premise, Bastions, Bastion Points, and then right into Facilities. There, cleaned up. 47-page document without proper editing, examples, connective tissue, and illustrations. Oy vey. All right, so this is, but the rough draft of this is done. The actual draft of the document is actually done. Type done. Dunzo done. So it's good to use. We if anyone that catches the channel, again, the link to this is in the playtest doc, link down below. You can start using this right now in your own campaigns if you want. If you do, please consider joining my Discord server down below, and tag in and let me know how you're using it. And if you have any questions about procedures, stick with me and let me know what they are, and we'll make it work. And we'll figure it out. But as constructed, this works pretty freaking well. So, yep, that's it. Okay, I'm going to cut stream for now. I'm going to be back tomorrow morning, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, to continue with Eberron artwork. And I'm going to continue doing Eberron artwork tonight until I pass out. So, man, I hope you all have a great night. This has been a really good day for Phil. So, thanks everyone for being here, and hope to see more of you guys in the future. Thanks a lot.